Hello and welcome to the Messed Up. In the last video we have covered the basic material and their parameters. Go check that video first if you have not seen that video. There are many material parameters which I have explained in the last video. I won't be explaining them here. I will put up a link for basic material in the description. I will cover only parameters here. If you want to practice on hands-on projects, you can check our KeyShot projects playlist. This video will cover advanced materials found in KeyShot. So let's start. There are total 14 advanced materials found in KeyShot and we will be covering them one by one. The first type in this list is the advanced material. This material contains a lot of parameters that you can tweak. You can create almost any material with the help of parameters that this material provides, like metals, plastic, leather, and even glass. Let's see the new parameters that we have not covered yet. Diffuse and specular we have already covered. New parameter that we have is the ambient. Ambient controls the color of self-shadowing on the material in the areas that are not receiving direct light. It can give unrealistic looks, so don't use it until you need it. Keep it to black if you don't want to use it. Next parameter that we have not discussed is the diffuse transmission. It will cause additional light to be scattered across the surface of the material. It can produce translucent effect. You can leave it to black if you don't want to use it. Next is specular transmission. You can think of it as a transparency of the material. Black is 100% opaque and white is 100% transparent. Next is the roughness parameter. It controls the roughness of refraction. The difference between roughness and the roughness transmission is that the roughness transmission is inside effect. You can use it to create frosted look on material with the inner roughness with even shiny surface on the outside. Next parameter is the Fresnel. This will control the intensity of the reflections that are perpendicular to the camera. In the real world, materials are more reflective around the edges of object than they are on the areas of object that are directly facing the viewer. This is enabled by default. Next material type is anisotropic. This material type lets you control the highlights on the surface. You can control the roughness in two directions using sliders. This material type is often used to simulate a finely brushed material. The parameters are color, specular, angle, mode, and roughness in XY direction. Let's cover each of them. If you are trying to create a metal, then put diffuse to black. If color is set to anything other than black, material type will take on a plastic look. Specular we have already covered. Roughness X and Y control highlights spread in independent directions. By the angle parameter, you can rotate the rough X and Y values. There are three modes in anisotropic material. These modes control the direction of highlights. First one is linear. This default option controls the highlights in linear direction, like in X and Y directions. Next mode is radial mode. You can observe the radial mode in this picture. You can choose the center point for this radial roughness. Last one is UV mode. UV mode is dependent on your UV coordinates. You can use this to manipulate the anisotropic highlights based on the mapping from your modeling software. I will cover more about the UV coordinates in textures video. Next material type is dielectric. It is an advanced way to create materials. There are some extra parameters. I have already covered all the parameters in the previous video except the Abbe number. The Abbe number slider controls the dispersion of light as it is transmitted to the surface and produces a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect color can be used to create the fire effect. A value of 0 will disable the dispersion effect entirely. A low value will show heavy dispersion. As you increase the value, effect will become more minute. Next material type is gem. The gem material is quite like solid glass, dielectric and liquid material type. The settings here are optimized for the gemstones. Abbe number is the most important parameter for gem material type. The new parameter we have not discussed yet is the ignore intersecting geometry. When it is enabled, overlapping geometry is ignored. Next material type is generic. It is based on the Disney BRDF shader. It have various new parameters that we have not discussed yet. The first is the metallic. It controls the metallicness of the material. Increase its value to get more metallic appearance. Next parameter is the specular tint. It determines how much color specular reflection gets from its base color. At the value 0, material acts like achromatic. Next parameter is the anisotropic. At value 0, surface becomes isotropic and will reflect evenly. As you will increase the anisotropic value, it will add direction to the reflections. Next parameter, anisotropic angle, controls the angle of anisotropic. Sheen decides the perceived shininess at grazing angles on surface. This is primarily used for clothed material. Sheen tint defines that how much color sheen gets from its base color. Clear coat adds a clear coat on the top of the material. Increasing the value makes the layer more prominent. Next is the anisotropic direction. When the value is 0, anisotropy follows the UV on the object, and when it is 1, they are straight. Next material type is measured, which supports the import of X-Rite exchange format AXF. In Radiance BSDF format, you can import .axf directly into the library. Next material type is metallic paint. It actually simulates two-layer paint, a base coat and a clear coat that gives clean reflection over entire material. There are two parameters that I will discuss here. The first one is the metal coverage. It controls the ratio of base color to the metal color. At 0 value, you will see the only base color. At 1, surface will entirely be covered with metal color. Try to keep it closer to 1 for best result. Flakes I will cover in displacement texture tutorial. Clear coat bump. With the help of this option, you can add bump to the upper layer. Next material type is a multi-layer optics. Here you can add multiple material layers. You can make multi-layer materials with its help. Plastic cloudy is the next material type. The plastic cloudy material contains light scattering particles to replicate complex and accurate materials such as polycarbonate or ABS. This material has parameters to control light transmission, roughness, refractive index, transparency distance, and cloudiness. The parameters that we will be discussing here are the cloudiness color, scattering directionality. Cloudiness affects the overall cloudiness of the plastic. At value 0, there is no cloudiness. Cloudiness color can be used to define specific color of the internal cloudiness of plastic, and scattering directionality controls the way light will be scattered. A negative value makes scattering backwards, positive value for the forwards, and 0 for uniform scattering. Next material type is a plastic transparent. The difference between the plastic transparent and the cloudiness plastic is less quantity of parameters. Plastic transparent does not contain options like cloudiness and parameters like scattering directionality. Next material is the translucent material. The translucent material type provides control over subsurface scattering properties that are found in skin, plastic, and other materials. I have already covered all the properties in the last video. The difference between the basic and the advanced translucent material is in the advanced mode, you can apply texture to the surface and subsurface. But in case of basic translucent, only colors can be applied. So that's it for the video. There are 3 advanced materials left, which include cloth, velvet, and scattering medium. I will cover them in the next video as they have so many parameters. And I will have a separate videos for all 3 of them with a rendering example. After completing the materials, we will be covering the environment, studios, and the camera. See you in the next videos.